I pretty much was just hanging out with friends, and one of the guys was a little bit more flamboyant, and I dressed very masculine, and so I was called dyke a lot, and I was looked at when I transitioned into 6th grade. I kept being asked, was I mixed? Was I confused? Was I this or that?
So my family's still like on the road to like with that, but other than my blood family, like my chosen family, like people I choose to surround myself with, like they're pretty like loving and have always been supportive.
We know that lesbian and bi women face high rates of oppression and discrimination for being lesbian or bisexual. We also know that some pretty horrible ways of controlling queer women exist. One absolutely horrid way is what has been called, I'm using quotes here, is called corrective rape, and I hate that phrase, but it describes a process where typically men will rape a lesbian or bisexual woman as a way of turning her straight and correcting her, and it's disgusting, it's wrong.
Anytime anyone pushes another group of people away just because they don't understand or they don't relate to it is ridiculous to me, because there's no one in this world that is strictly alone. So like even if they come from like a totally different country, a totally different background, anything, there's always that one thing that you can find that relates them, that you can humanize them in their form. And so for people to discriminate against other people strictly because of who they love or how they love is ridiculous, because you don't see yourself in another human being when we're all human beings.
I think there's something about the arts that allows for personal expression and the ability for someone to create their own worlds in ways that other parts of life might not really be suitable for. And when you're part of the LGBT community, so much of your life is scrunched into a box, right? And thrown onto a shelf and left to the side because we're told we're not supposed to say who we are, be who we are, right? The arts allows a lot of people to unpack that, right? And to tell who they are, tell their own stories in ways that might be more direct and exactly about being LGBT, or it could also be a sort of metaphor or an allegory that allows us to express who we are in symbolic ways, and that's really important to be able to have that space.
Like, there's this widening gap of students who are immersed in arts programming, and then students who never have ever had the opportunity to even partake in an arts program.
Theater definitely like helped me find my confidence as a person and performer, and then About Face really helped me with my identity and like coming into my own, like finding my queer identity.
At a very young age, I got into doing jury and writing poetry. I was really big on writing. What helped me get into writing was in 6th grade. I had one of the worst teachers named Miss Adair Vickers, and she would make us recite poetry, and I fell in love with it, with Langston Hughes, Shakespeare. I related a lot to the poetry that we were doing, and it got me into it, writing, and it got me into music. I've always been a big fan of music. I love listening to music. It helps me keep my mind focused on whatever it is that I'm doing in life at the moment.
And we're celebrating 20 years of About Face Youth Theater, 20 years of queer youth in Chicago coming together and creating art and telling their personal stories and having a platform for them to like say everything they need to. Seeing queer youth on stage doing their thing and telling our stories and like being out, living, I say in the show, like we live like proudly and unapologetically as ourselves. Yeah, and I hope people who have come to see the show have like taken a piece of that and like that, like, you know, have a glimmer of hope for like youth, and like they're okay. They're gonna, you know, yeah. I fully believe that like we as queer youth are like changing